All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment everybody has waited for. They're going racing at Watkins Glen. Up front will be Stephen Gibson and Kyle Holden on the front row. Austin Hable, Jared Heasley on the second row. Kevin Reed, Mark Dantuma have the third. Aaron Mason and Mark Nelson on the fourth row. Bill Percy and Gerald Thanos-Poole rounding out the top 10. Mike Smith starts 11th and Rick Sargent in 12th. Ian Ogden 13th, Nick Marco in 14th. Albie Hewen starts in 15th and AJ Godsey starts in 16th. Of note, Jared Heasley in the MS Society car starting in 4th place. He is the points leader coming into tonight. Kyle Holden, after missing last week, he slips back 4th in points, but was the fastest in practice and obviously second fastest in qualifying. Stephen Gibson comes out here, and I do believe this is Stephen's first race of the season. Comes out here and puts it on the pole. Bill Percy qualified in 10th. He will be dropping to the tail end of the field due to an EOL penalty. AJ Godsey has not taken to the grid. And Rick Sargent will be one to watch here tonight. Just based on what we saw in practice and qualifying, that man is throwing that car around the track. Drivers lining up down the back straightaway. We might see a few of them go ahead and cut the bus stop here. Nope, nobody's going to cut the bus stop on the outlap. That's the first time I've ever seen a race here that somebody didn't cut it. Coming through the last couple of turns. Porsche pace car will pull down pit road. Somebody just swung really wide. Aaron Mason gets back lined up in time for the start, though. Pace car drops in. Here they come down the front straightaway. Waiting, green flag in the air. They're down and away at the Glen. And off towards turn 1. Gibson deep in. Oh, Gibson locks up the brakes. A lot of drivers. Oh, we've got Mark Dantuma around. A lot of drivers talking about how bad the brakes are, and not just they want to lock up at the most random times, and obviously playing out early. Kyle Holden managed to get by Stephen Gibson quickly and has taken the lead. Gibson now to second, Heasley up into third, Austin Abel in fourth. Mark Dantuma has fallen all the way back into 15th. Bill Percy on the move. Bill Percy just shot the gap. Remember, Bill went to the back of the field already fighting his way up. He's in 12th. Mike Smith, a bit of a surprise. He's already up 3 spots into 8th place. Might not know for road racing, but he is getting it done here. Mark Nelson also starting to make some moves here. He is up into 7th. Meanwhile, Kyle Holden leads the first lap. Gibson currently in second, Heasley running in third, Austin Habel in fourth. Gibson is around, up through the S's. Nick Marco also having a crash. See what happened to Nick as they go off toward turn one. Nick just completely misses his braking point. Nick ended up towing to pit road. What happened to Gibson from second place? Oh, just gets too much of the rumble strips, gets loose right in front of the points leader. Jared barely able to avoid it. Jared ends up losing some spots here. That's right along in Heasley's car. Up through the S's there, he sees Gibson gets loose. Shifts left, tries to avoid it, gets some of the grass. Has to get way out of the throttle and loses a ton of momentum going into the long straightaway. What should have been a big win for Heasley moved him back into fifth. Kyle still in the lead now. Austin Habel to second, Kevin Reed in third, Aaron Mason fourth, Heasley in fifth, Mark Nelson in sixth. It's a three-car fight for fourth place. Heasley trying to set up for the move into the bus stop. Doesn't have the momentum yet. Austin Habel in second, Kevin Reed in third. Kevin, another one of the drivers who is not a fan of this car on the road course. Aaron, oh! Did Heasley, they get together going through the final turn. Aaron Mason ends up in the wall. See if we can see, did they get together here? Oh, it looks like Aaron just gets way on the brakes. He might have locked him up. Heasley had nowhere to go. Nick Marco is back off of pit road. Aaron Mason is now on pit road. And out of nowhere, avoiding a ton of chaos, Gerald Thanos Poole has picked up the most spots up into sixth place. He just got past. He was all the way up into fourth before Nelson and Heasley came by. Ian Ogden up 6 spots, started in 13th, now in 7th. Wild Bill is up to 9th after starting tail end of the field. Bill is on the march, but Mark Dantuma is charging his way back toward the front after that lap 1 incident. As is Steven Gibson, now back up into 11th. Wild Bill looking to shake off some of the bad luck, just wanted to stay out of trouble, survive, and see how many spots he could get here tonight. Meanwhile, Kyle Holden now has a 6.5 second lead after just 6 laps over Austin Habel. Kevin Reed still holds on in third. Mark Nelson now up into fourth place, and Heasley in fifth. Both drivers experienced road racers, and it's going to make for an interesting battle between these two. Gerald Poole not far behind in sixth place. Ian Ogden is definitely one to watch here. He has already charged through so much. Up into 7th. Dan Tuma now up into 8th. Kyle Holden has the fastest lap of the race so far, but Dan Tuma may be taking that before too much longer. Dan Tuma now looking to the bottom. He signals he's going to make the move into one. Ian brakes early, lets him go easy. Oh, Ian, a little lockup on the brakes. Meanwhile, Kyle Holden just cruising around here tonight. Kyle Holden actually holds the fastest lap right now, and he has beat his own fastest lap the last 3 laps in a row. Mike Smith has crashed. Several drivers have had off tracks. Let's take a look. There's Mike Smith. Coming toward, oh, just gets on the bro. Stephen Gibson barely avoids that. Then a moment later, Austin Habel has an off-track moment. Austin running in second place, just shoots wide through the second to last turn. Jared Heasley also having an off-track moment. Coming toward that second to last turn, I suspect we're going to see quite a few drivers go a little too wide through there. Heasley now up to fourth, having gotten past Mark Nelson. Gerald Poole in sixth, but Mark Dantuma now back up into seventh place. Dantuma is on a mission. Bill Percy has crashed. Bill was looking to have a clean race tonight. Off into the bus stop. Too much of the rumble strip. Just barely. I think he might have given Stephen Gibson a bit of a kiss there. No effect to Gibson, but Bill losing a lot of ground. Kyle Holden's lead now 8.8 seconds. Average is gaining, now it's over 9 seconds as he's gaining over a second a lap. Austin Habel in second has 1.3 seconds on Kevin Reed in third. Jared Heasley in fourth, starting to pull away just a little bit from Mark Nelson in fifth. Mark Dantuma back in sixth place, trying to run down the top five. He is, after his lap one incident going all the way to the back, he has fought his way back to where he qualified. Gerald Thanos Poole sits in seventh. Ian Ogden now in eighth. Stephen Gibson qualified on the pole. Had an early incident, lap 2. Got loose in the S's. Has fought his way back up into ninth. And is definitely on the march. Rick Sargent had an off track. Coming into the final turn, just a little too much brake. The back end kicking around on him. We watched Rick during practice a little bit. Keep a close eye on him because he definitely has a different style of getting these next-gen cars around the track. He was literally throwing that car around. Looks like a little bit more conservative through the bus stop. Let's watch these last couple of turns. Looks like Rick being just a little bit more conservative during the race. Kyle Holden, though, out front, continues to extend his lead, now 12 seconds over Austin Habel. Just doing some quick math here, but if Kyle Holden keeps his current pace up, when it's time for him to go to pit road, he will actually be able to pit, get 4 tires and fuel, and not lose the lead. Remember, these guys can go up to 30 laps on a tank in a 50-lap race, and the tire fall-off was pretty insignificant for a lot of drivers coming into tonight. The most anybody saw was a 1-second fall-off. Kyle Holden, however, is not seeing that fall-off. Last time by was his fastest lap, and he is now officially a second lap faster than anybody else's fastest lap. Mark Dantuma, who has been charging his way back up toward the front, currently in 6th place, has lost a little bit of pace here. He was gaining on Mark Nelson for a bit. That gap is now stabilized at about 4.6 seconds. Gerald Poole sits in 7th. Stephen Gibson now back up to 8th. Ian Ogden currently in 9th. Bill Percy holding on to a top 10 run at the moment. Kyle Holden, meanwhile, continues to dominate this race as he goes into the bus stop. Austin Habel just reaching the top of the S's with Kevin Reed in tow. Jared Heasley, 4.5 seconds back from Reed and Habel, but is starting to close the gap just a little bit. Heasley came in tonight with a 6-point lead over Jeff Hinkle and a 12-point lead over AJ Godsey. In fact, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in points, Jeff Hinkle, AJ Godsey, and Eric Stoy not in the race tonight. Kyle Holden, who came in tonight 5th in points, currently in 1st. But as long as Heasley can maintain his position or move up, he will maintain the points lead. Kyle Holden, the last 2 laps, has set the fastest lap and continuing to beat his own laps. Last time by, he ran a 1:12.15, continuing to get faster. His lead now almost 16 seconds. It's going to take a big mistake on track or a big mistake on pit road for anybody to catch up to Kyle. However, Kyle Holden will be getting into lap traffic here shortly as Albie Hewins in 12th, Rick Sargent in 11th, just ahead. Austin Abel in second. Kevin Reed still holds on to third. Heasley in fourth has reeled in Kevin Reed. Last time by, the gap was 4.5 seconds. Now down to 3.2 and shrinking. Mark Nelson still holding on to fifth, but Dan Tuma has found some more speed as he runs in sixth. He is now closed down to 3.5 seconds on Nelson. Stephen Gibson, who qualified on the pole, currently sitting back in 7th place, continuing to try and reel in all the cars ahead of him. Holden has gotten by Alaby Hewins to put him a lap down. Rick Sargent will be the next car he laps. And there is Rick just ahead on the straightaway. Austin's lead now 17, almost 18 seconds over, or Kyle Holden's lead almost 18 seconds over Austin now. Heasley, meanwhile, continuing to reel in Kevin Reed in fourth. Mark Nelson currently running in fifth. He is stuck in a little bit of lap traffic here. Aaron Mason, Aaron getting a little wobbly there through the bus stop. Mark Nelson making a move on Aaron Mason. Aaron not for position. It is going to slow him down, though. Dan Tuma really closing in right there. Dan Tuma cut the gap down to 1.8 seconds on Nelson. That's going to be the battle for fifth as Dan Tuma continues to reel him in. Jared Heasley still has his sights set on the cars ahead. The gap now down under 2 seconds. That MS Society car has been dominant this season. A win at Daytona, a win at Dover. However, Kyle Holden, 3 wins on the season. In fact, we've only had 2 winners this season, Kyle Holden and Jared Heasley. All the drivers will be within their fuel window in about 3 laps, but expect most of them to pit around lap 25, right at the halfway point. And there may be a few drivers who take fuel only here, although the vast majority are going to be looking for tires. Mike Smith has had an incident. Mike coming down toward the bus stop. Oh, Mike just completely misses the bus stop. Manages to get it cranked. He does have to take a slowdown. Mike currently running back in 14th place. He is trying to reel in Aaron Mason in 13th. Mark Dantuma right behind Aaron, trying to get by here and catch Mark Nelson. A little bit of a lockup out of Dantuma. For being a lap down, Aaron Mason definitely has a ton of speed coming in here tonight. lets Dan Tuma get by easily, but Aaron has managed to stay with everybody tonight. Nick Marco letting the leader Kyle Holden back by. Kyle's lead now 21 seconds. Heasley has crashed. Kevin Reed has had an off track. Kevin Reed, as in the second to last turn, gets loose, hits that inside wall as Heasley goes by. Heasley had a crash and it looks like he may have towed to pit road. There's Heasley. Oh, big lockup coming into the bus stop. Manages to get the car under control. And it looks like Jared might have hurt the car somehow coming through that section as he towed it to pit road. Heasley was on a charge. He had caught up to and passed Kevin Reed. Was up in third place when that incident occurred. Nick Marco going a little wide through the second to last turn there as Kyle Holden completes the 19th, starts lap 20. His lead now 21.76 seconds as he comes around to lap 9th place, Bill Percy. Despite some bad luck early, Bill has managed to fight his way and stay in the top 10. Here comes the leader down to the inside. Nick Marco has crashed. Second to last turn gets a little bit too wide. Gets it gathered back up, back out on the track. Nick heads it back off into turn number 1. And just overshoots his braking point into the tire barrier. Kyle Holden has the big lead at the moment. Jared Heasley is back out on track. Currently scored in 13th. Let's see if we can talk to race control and see if she knows what happened with Jared. Hey, Nicole, it's Doug. You got me?
Yep, gotcha.
Hey, got a question. We saw Jared have some problems in the bus stop, but didn't see what happened and why he needed to tow the car to pit road. Did you hear anything?
I haven't heard anything, no. I'm just trying to keep my eyes on everything, and it's hard to do it tonight.
I am sure you have your hands full. What are you hearing on the radio tonight? Any complaints, or has anybody called for wrecking Kyle yet?
Nobody's called for wrecking Kyle. They're just kind of saying sorry.
Well, it's a road course. Everybody is a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I know it's going to be a busy night for you, Nicole.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Nicole, that's what she said. Creasel in race control. We are so happy to have her up there trying to keep everybody in line. Kyle Holden still a big lead, setting his sights on lapping Gerald Thanos Poole next. Gerald currently running in 8th. Ian Ogden in up to 7th now. Stephen Gibson has recovered to 6th place. And as Kevin Reed just ahead, Gibson might have the biggest comeback story here tonight after that lap 2 incident coming through the S's, has fought his way back up into 6th, sets his eyes back for the top 5. They come up through the S's, a lot of traffic just ahead too. Mark Nelson, Mark Dantuma's back up to 3rd. Dantuma having one of the best runs here tonight as well. Aaron, isn't that still going to be part of? Isn't Gerald still going to be part of J&S, or is he doing his own thing? I hadn't talked to him about it. Austin Abel currently runs in 2nd. Kyle Holden still out front. His lead now 28 seconds. Kyle is just in another dimension here tonight. 2 laps from halfway, we should see most drivers hitting pit road. Aaron Mason and Albie Hewins have both completed their pit stops. Oh, interesting. So it'll be a Team Flaming Karma for next season. Mark Dantuma in 3rd place is running down Austin Habel in 2nd. Mark had a lap 1 incident out of turn number 1. Has fought his way through the chaos, has passed every car put in front of him, and now looking for 2nd place. The question becomes, does Mark have the speed to run down Kyle Holden? If Dantuma gets the 2nd place, we'll make a note of how far ahead Kyle Holden is. Stephen Gibson just got by Kevin Reed, is now back into the top 5 as well. Jared Heasley is fighting his way back up, currently in 11th place. Working his way back into the top 10, trying to maintain his points lead. And Kyle Holden's last lap, he broke into the 111s. Kyle Holden just ran a 111.92, the only driver tonight to have broken into the 111. That includes in practice and qualifying. Kyle Holden has definitely, and he did that on 25 lap old tires. Obviously, tire wear doesn't seem to be bothering Kyle here tonight. That begs the question, will Kyle be one of those drivers that takes fuel only on his stop? He is not going to stop now, though, and we should start seeing the leaders pit anytime as we've reached the halfway point. There's Austin Habel in 2nd. Mark Dantuma in 3rd, has caught up to his back bumper. I believe it was Nick Marco just ahead. Mark Dantuma underneath. Austin Habel as they head toward the front stretch. Austin gets the better run off the final turn, pulls back ahead. Lap traffic about. Oh, Austin locks him up in 1. He goes a bit wide. Nick Marco moving out of the way. Rick Sargent has crashed. Rick coming through that. Oh, too much brakes. Gets loose and, oh my goodness. Backs it into the wall. Looks like Rick towed to pit road. Mark Nelson, Ian Ogden on pit road. Meanwhile, the battle for second continues. Dan Tuma looking for a move here into the final turn. He had the better run off last time. Oh, Mark Dan Tuma comes to pit road. Hagel stays out. Gibson now back into the top three. Kyle Holden's lead now 34.5 seconds. Whenever he comes to pit road, if he has a clean pit stop, unlikely to lose the lead here. And he does not come down this time. Dan Tuma on his way back off of pit road. Dan Tuma going to come off pit road in 6th place, and the leader's coming by. Now we'll be able to see a comparison of speed. Can Dan Tuma stay with Kyle Holden here? Kyle using every bit of that curb, getting a little bit of air in that car. Kyle about to wreck now about to lap now 5th place Gerald Thanos Poole. Gerald comes to pit road this time. Kyle continuing to stretch it. 30 laps was the limit, the driver said, but I do believe Kyle Holden has not conserved a single drop of fuel. I think he'll have to stop in the next lap. Austin Abel still holds on to 2nd. Gibson in 3rd. The top 4 have not been to pit road yet. Gerald Poole on pit road. Austin Abel comes down. Gibson stays out. Kevin Reed stays out. Mark Dan Tuma currently running in 5th. Might get to pick up 4th here in a moment. The leader is on pit road. Kyle Holden hits pit road. Dan Tuma is going by. Austin Abel is rolling off pit road. Dan Tuma coming out of turn 1 will have an advantage on the momentum as they go off into the S's. Austin Abel pulls it off. Stephen Gibson in 2nd, Kevin Reed in 3rd. Still have not been to pit road. Gibson is on pit road this time. Kevin Reed is coming in. Kyle Holden is rolling off pit road. He still has the lead. Interestingly, Kyle Holden had one of the longest stops out there. Mark Dantuma trying to reel in Austin Habel. Despite that long stop, Kyle Holden's lead still 37 seconds over Austin Habel and Mark Dantuma. Mark Nelson now slips up into 4th. Gibson back to 5th as he rolls off. Bill Percy completes the cycle of pit stops as he hits pit road. And after pit stops complete, Kyle Holden still has a big lead over Austin Habel, Mark Dantuma, Mark Nelson in 4th, Stephen Gibson in 5th. Kevin Reed Curley in 6th, Ian Ogden in 7th, Gerald Thanos Poole in 8th. Jared Heasley now back up into 9th place. And it looks like Bill Percy will hold on to 10th. Kyle Holden is hitting that rumble strip on the entry to the bus stop hard and jumping that car every time. I've broadcast a lot of races here. I've never seen anybody hit that and jump it the way Kyle is and do that intentionally, lap in and lap out. Mark Dantuma currently running in 3rd. He came in tonight 7th in points. He was in contention all of last season. Trying to run down Austin Habel and close up some points here. Mark Dantuma likely to pick up several spots in the points here tonight. And Kyle Holden, after missing last week, went from 1st in points to 5th. He is definitely going to make up some ground here tonight. Jared Easley currently running in 9th, has the points lead. Sights set on Gerald Thanos Poole in the next 19 laps, trying to pick up any positions he can here to maintain that points lead. Gerald Poole currently running in 8th, has his sights set on Ian Ogden in 7th. Gerald Poole coming into tonight 12th in points. Ian Ogden way down in the points, has only made a couple of races so far this season. We'll definitely pick up some spots here tonight. We'll be talking about his gain a lot more next week. And with Kyle Holden's speed here tonight, he currently a 37-second lead, but only 6 cars left on the lead lap. Kyle taking everybody to school here tonight. His pit stop was a second faster than everybody else in the top 5, and yet he still has a 37.5-second lead here. And at no point did he lose the lead. Mark Dantuma has finally gotten past Austin Habel. He is now into 2nd place. Habel back to 3rd. Mark Nelson in 4th is closing in. And look who's back in the top 5, Stephen Gibson. Bill Percy in 10th place, mixed into this battle. 2nd through 5th, separated by less than 2 seconds right now. Oh, Dan Tuma, a problem out of turn 1, and Austin goes back by. Mark Nelson, Stephen Gibson get by the lap car of Bill Percy. Now they're going to try and close in. Gibson starting to look for a move. Coming out of the L. Gibson, man, got the wall there. Trying to look at the left side of Gibson's car. I do believe he gave the wall a little kiss. Austin Abel back in second place. Now going to have to contend with Dan Tuma. Stephen Gibson, Mark Nelson battle it out. Gibson now to fourth. And believe it or not, Kyle Holden just set the fastest lap of the race, beating his own previous fast lap with a 1:11.53. And despite everybody else's lap times continuing to drop, Kyle Holden still 0.8 of a second faster than anybody else. Kyle Holden could come out of the final turn, just drive through pit road, pull back out on track, and still be in the lead. "15 laps to go, a 41-second lead. Austin Abel has found a little more speed as he opens up a bit of a gap on Mark Dan Tuma. Stephen Gibson closing in on both of them. If Stephen Gibson makes the comeback to get a podium finish here, that would be extraordinary given the way, or the incident on that second lap. He's now looking for a pass on Dan Tuma through the S's. He gets to the inside as they go up. Dan Tuma lets him go. Gibson now to third. And Kyle Holden just set another fastest lap. 1:11.43. Kyle's still the only driver down in the 1:11s. And remember, his fastest lap before the pit stop was done on old tires. He is not full. Oh, Nick Marco has crashed. Looks like he locked up the brakes coming out of one. Car got loose, snapped into the inside wall. He towed it to pit road. Looking to see if Kyle will beat his lap yet again. $111.31 last time by. Stephen Gibson gets by Austin Abel. He is now in second place. His fastest lap still 0.9 of a second slower than Holden. Austin Abel now in third, has to deal with Dan Tuma, who's caught back up. Mark Nelson back in fifth, now also closing in. Austin Abel having a great race here tonight. Came in tonight 19th in points. only able to make a few races so far this season. 2 races so far. He's going to make up a lot of ground here tonight. Mark Dantuma, Mark Nelson closing in on Austin Habel and Stephen Gibson, but Gibson starting to open up a bit of a gap here. Mark Nelson has managed to hold on in the top 5 most of the night. Both Marks very experienced at road racing and having great nights here tonight. Oh! Dan Tuma gets right up to Austin Habel's bumper. Meanwhile, Gibson pulling away has already opened up a 1.4 second gap, but is not closing in at all on leader Kyle Holden. That gap now 47.25 seconds. With 11 laps to go, you have to wonder, only 6 cars on the lead lap. How many more can Kyle Holden lap here tonight? Kevin Reed just now going through the bus stop. Kyle Holden is gaining on him. Austin Habel trying to close the gap on Stephen Gibson. Dan Tuma now has Nelson back to his back bumper. Mike Smith coming back off pit road. Mike currently scored in 12th place, a couple laps down. We have seen dominant races before out of some of the drivers, but what we're seeing out of Kyle Holden here tonight is the stuff of legend, really, as he has dominated this race since the drop of the green. His lead now 48.25 seconds. Stephen Gibson back in second. Austin Habel runs third. Dan Tuma in fourth. Mark Nelson runs fifth. Kevin Reed currently in sixth place, trying to hold on to the lead lap here, but the leader is coming quickly. Austin Habel, Mark Dantuma, and Mark Nelson, who were nose to tail just a couple laps ago, have now spread out just a little bit. Kevin Reed currently holding on to sixth place. Ian Ogden in seventh. Gerald Thanos Poole in eighth. Jared Easley in ninth is reeling in Thanos, but only 9 laps to go. He's going to have to push it. Gerald and Jared have been teammates in endurance races before. So both drivers know how the other one drives. Kyle Holden just set another fast lap, 1:11.29. Bill Percy back in 10th place, securing that. Aaron Mason in 11th. Quite a ways back, Mike Smith in 12th. Albie Hewins and Nick Marco on pit road. Rick Sargent out of the race. Kyle Holden now right on Kevin Reed's back bumper. Kevin moving over to let the leader by, and there will be 5 cars left on the lead lap. I do not think that Kyle Holden will be able to lap anybody else in the next 7 laps. Stephen Gibson, currently in second, has pulled away from Austin Habel by 2.5 seconds. Austin now has 1.5 seconds on Mark Dantuma. Mark has almost 2 seconds on Mark Nelson. Oh, Stephen Gibson comes out of turn 1, a little bit of a bobble there, manages to gather it up. A very close call for the pole sitter. Austin Habel in third, gaining a little ground on that lap. Mark Dantuma in fourth, trying to pull back up to Austin Habel. He is chomping away at that gap and pulling away from Mark Nelson in fifth. Kevin Reed sits securely in sixth place at the moment. Dantuma just did his fastest lap, a 1:12.32, still 1 second slower than Kyle Holden. The drivers knew Holden was fast in practice. Now with 5 laps to go, he just continues to march away. Next time they'll have to make Kyle start from pit road. Maybe then everybody else will have a chance. Stephen Gibson currently in second, continues to pull away from Austin Habel in third. Dantuma in fourth, holding at about 1 1/4 seconds back. Nelson in fifth, about 3.8 seconds back. Goodness, Kyle Holden may break into the 110s before this is over. He just ran a 111.05. I don't know what the fastest lap in these cars at this track has ever been, but you have to think Kyle Holden is getting very, very close to it. And these are not fresh tires. He's had these tires for the last 17 laps. Kyle Holden definitely looking for a lap record here tonight. Steven Gibson in second place, now 53 and a half seconds back. 111.17. Can he do it in the next 3 laps? That's the only thing he has left to accomplish tonight. No driver has broke into the 110s. Gibson now a 4-second lead over Habel. Dan Tuma is caught back up. Will he be able to find a way around Austin Habel in the next 3 laps? These two have battled it out countless times tonight. They have swapped positions multiple times. Looks like Mark has the corner speed advantage here. Mark definitely, oh, Austin goes way wide out of 1. Does he get a slowdown out of that? Could that be the mistake that Dan Tuma needs? Or it looks like Austin may have kept it in the within the track limits, as now he goes around the lap car of Nick Marco. This is the battle for third, as Kyle Holden just got 2 to go. While these two battle, Mark Nelson unable to gain any ground. I imagine quite a bit, Nicole. And Kyle Holden just took the white flag as we saw third and fourth place going through turn 1. Kyle Holden 1 lap away from his 4th win of the season. Steven Gibson currently running in second. Austin Habel, Mark Dantuma battling for third. As Austin Habel and Mark Dantuma pick up the white flag, Kyle Holden is looking out of that final turn. He sees the checkers. Kyle Holden pulls it off. He dominates, leads every lap, and wins with a 57-second margin of victory. Steven Gibson still on the back straightaway in second place. There's still over half a lap for third and fourth. We could see a change for position. Gibson coming through the carousel. He's got 4.5 seconds on Austin Abel. Mark Dantuma carrying as much momentum as possible. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it done here. Stephen Gibson comes through the final turn. He'll finish in second place tonight. Austin Abel comes out of the final turn and finishes third. Let's see if we can talk to our top three, starting with Austin. Hey, Austin, this is Doug. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that was a great run, and you and Mark had some great battles there.
Yeah, right there with like 3 laps to go, I 100% thought that he was going to catch me.
It got a little close, and coming through the second to last turn, he would get really close to that back bumper, but just did not have enough to get it done.
Yeah, I 100% believe that he would have got there. He would have used the bumper to try to move me.
Well, he didn't, and you come home with a third, and given that you've not had many races this season, man, you're going to make a big points jump tonight.
Yeah, I was at home the past like few weeks, so I really wanted to race Dover last week. Dover is one of my best tracks. I probably could have came home with like a third, too.
Well, you get another podium finish here tonight, man. A great, great run. Congratulations, Austin.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, Stephen Gibson comes home in second place. Hey, Stephen, it's Doug. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Doug.
Hey, a great run for second place, and man, it looked like had you not had the early problems, you might have had something for Kyle.
Yeah, I still don't think I would have had anything for Kyle, but yeah, I mean, I think I just pretty much assumed my rightful position after all that chaos I did to myself. I mean, that was pretty intense right there, trying to just work my way up back the field with the really good racers we have in the league. So it was a lot of fun.
Man, you had quite a charge back through the field. You were picking them off left and right, and a great, epic run back up into second place, man.
Yep, thank you, man.
And finally, let's see if we can talk to our winner, Kyle Holden. Kyle, do you realize how quickly you were pulling away from people?
I guess I was just trying to lap as many people as possible once I figured out I had some decent pace. We had a really good race. I've ran here a couple times, and I've kind of really figured out this track.
I have to say, your fastest lap, a 111.05, and I honestly thought in that last 5 laps you'd break into the 110s.
That was my goal, and I couldn't get there. I have the fastest lap. I have a 110 on a open setup, so I was trying to see if I could do it on a fix, but I just don't know if it has it in it.
Oh, man, it had a lot in it tonight. That was some of the fastest laps we've ever seen. I have to say, your entry into the bus stop was something I've never seen before here. Really just jumping that first turn.
Oh yeah, you send it in there, hold the wheel as straight as possible, hope you don't die, and if you make it through, you're good. You're golden for the rest of it.
Well, it definitely paid off, man. That was a dominant performance. You had such a big lead. You pit and never lost the lead. I don't think anybody had anything to touch you tonight, man. That was a great win.
I appreciate it, Doug. You're going to see some changes here in a couple weeks here. You might see me running a different car for some various reasons we'll release here in a couple weeks, but glad to be a part of BRR. Huge thanks to you, being in the booth, doing this for us, and huge thanks to Martin Sports for being in the car, Team Watson Racing for always giving me the great setups they do every week, and just hopefully finish out this season strong, but we're definitely going to be missing a couple, so it's going to be a race for the finish.
All right, man. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks.
Kyle Holden scores his 4th win of the season and in dominant fashion. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Jones BS Racing is back tomorrow night. You're not going to want to miss any of that excitement. I do believe the kids race tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Have a great night.